Welcome to Black Mirror of Art. In this video, we're going to be looking at the minor arcana, and we're going to look at Hermetic philosophy and how it informs the tarot using the Mandorla as a means of explaining this. Let's start with what we know. In the minor arcana, each suit starts with the ace, or the one. The one represents a point or source from which everything comes and to which everything returns. This process of generation extends outward until it manifests. And from that point, it then returns back to the source. So we have a point where the generation goes as far as it can. This creates, therefore, 2 points: the creator and the created, or the source and the manifested. And so we have 2, which is wisdom. So we have point 1, which is point, origin, or the individual, the beginning. And then we have 2, which is wisdom, the ability to see or discern 2 different things. So this process, although these 2, above as above, so below, I'm trying to get out here. Okay, so even though we have these 2, it is still a process where there is a descent and then there is a return. This is best expressed through using the concept of the Mandorla. So we have a process of generation which results in manifestation. But even though as above, so below, what is created is not eternal. And so therefore it is subject to growth, age, decay, referred to in the Hermetic texts as corruption. But this limit of how far the generation can go before it then becomes a process of return, this corruption is in itself a form of ascent. So we talked about up here the 2 different points: the beginning, the middle, or the generation, the source, and that which is generated, or that which is created. But this whole creation process requires a medium of creation. And so that is what is in the middle here. So we now have 3 levels. We have spirit, we have soul, and we have body. So because we have our senses, our eyes, ears, nose, throat, all that, we are able to discern a beginning, a starting point where we are born, something is created, something comes into being, and then goes through a lifespan or a life cycle, which then ends, and we dimly understand or perceive that somehow past this end, there is a return to the beginning. And so we have 3, which represents understanding. So we take the wisdom that is given and combine it together to create an understanding, 1 plus 2, of what is going on. So now we're in part 2 of the video, which, by the way, is copyright Daijobu Kuma Productions. So we began with 3. We see that there is a source. We see that there is a process where there is generation, and then there is return. The 3 of it is we also witness the life cycle, the beginning, and the end. But as we better understand this, as we experience it, as we study it, as we work more with the tarot and develop our psyche, our intuition, we begin to perceive that there is a point where the generation actually occurs. We are not able to perceive the source. That is beyond our efforts at this time. But we're able to dimly perceive something just before the beginning, just before something is born, just before something is created. And once we witness the end of something, we are able to dimly perceive or perhaps intuitively grasp that there is something just beyond that that is this process of return. If we then take hold of these two items and kind of like stretch them out like that, we wind up with the pentagram. A pentagram of 5 equaling 2 plus 3. So in this pentagram, as we use it to essentially define our world, something we need to keep in mind is that while we have understood something, the 3 of things, and we have expanded them into 5, that 5 also consists of 1 plus 4. Basically a square of manifestation or existence. This is the realm or world that we live and move and have our being in. And so as a result, we know that there is a seed and we know that there is a matrix. The seed is up above beyond our understanding. The matrix is also below, in effect, our understanding. So as above, so below. What we then understand, particularly with this order and the matrix working within it to help generate things, to provide the medium for generation, we understand that everything we have is corrupt but perfectible. I spoke earlier about how we can better understand something takes place right after the end. This is part of the perfectible. We are able to improve what we have. We cannot completely purify it or make it eternal. That's just not possible. But it is, we can improve upon it. And so as a result, once we understand above and below, that which is above us and that which is below us, combined with the order of the world and the matrix that helps to generate all of this or nurture it, we then wind up with 4 plus 2, of 6. And so we have something that still reflects the cycle of generation and returning. But we are able to eventually perceive that there is a higher order involved in the process, and that also part of this higher order into which we return to the one or to the source. And the result is that we are able to see not just worlds without, but also worlds within. And we are able to perceive worlds above us and worlds below us. We can then use this understanding to improve ourselves and bootstrap ourselves up into much better human beings and to make a much better world. Now we're in part 3. Let's go ahead and bring in the major arcana, because a consistent theme I've had in all of this is that the minor arcana can help us better understand the major arcana, a consistent theme in all the videos I've been doing. We established earlier, before, that there was basically a process of generation, manifestation, and then a return. And that there was a medium that helped provide for this process or nurture this process along. So now, here in the majors, we have these 3 levels that I spoke of before. So, if we take the major arcana and lay them out in this formation, a formation I first learned about from Paul Foster Case in his book, The Tarot, we have 1 through 7, 8 through 14, 15 through 21. So we have a source, just as in this. We have a source, the first row. We have a matrix or nurturing medium, which is the second row, which also acts as a process of mediation between the source and the manifest. And then we have that which is created, or which is subject to decay and corruption and such, because it is not eternal. By the way, when I speak of decay and corruption, I don't necessarily mean something evil. I mean the simple fact is that we grow old, and that everything grows old and has a life cycle of a beginning and an end. And that is this third row here. So then, with this understanding here, I spoke earlier of being able to, in effect, pull out to create the pentagram. But if we just work with the 3 here and pull those out, we wind up with 4, with a center source of everything. So we have 5 equaling 4 plus 1. So these 3, with these 2 supporting stations here, we can then take the first column, 1, 8, and 15, and apply it to this. So we have 1, the magician, 8, strength, as in the Rider Waite deck, and then 15, the devil, flanked on the right by the hermit. And to get 14, we go all the way over to here and loop it back, loop the row back into 8. So as within, so without. And so bring this back, and so we have 14 on the left. This creates a pattern of 4, 1, 8, 15, 4, 9, 8, 14 here. And we can see the type of world or realm of experience that this first column creates, and how it is supported, and how this helps manifest this particular realm. So we're able to see a cycle, 1 to 14 to 15 to 9 to 1. Generation, manifestation, return to the source.